It's very challenging being a purveyor of entertainment today because there is very little entertainment to be had from television and film because there's been a cancer eating away at our industry and the industry we love and we have loved for many years for a very long time. And it's called the extreme left narrative. And us Doctor Who fans saw the consequences of that during the Chibnall era. When Russell T Davies was announced, we thought we were getting our Happily Ever After. When he was announced to be returning as Doctor Who's showrunner, I had shaving cream all over my face. I just came to check my laptop, see what's going on in the world, and I heard the news. And I couldn't believe it. I thought it was just a bad rumour. But it was true. And I was excited because I love RTD. I think he's a great creative. And I loved his original revival of Doctor Who. But unfortunately, me like you and the rest of you out there watching this video, we forgot one very, very important thing. The era we're in. It was never going to go back to the good old days of the original RTD era. Now, when we all heard Disney would be streaming Doctor Who in America and other countries to make it accessible to places that don't have the BBC and the iPlayer available, we just thought they were streaming Doctor Who. But something a lot more nefarious was going on because Disney are investors in Doctor Who. They're producers, they're co-producers of the show. They are part, they're part of that round table. They get to decide what does and doesn't happen. They have partial control of Doctor Who because the BBC can no longer independently make drama and make content independently via BBC America like they did with Robin Hood, like Merlin and the original Doctor Who revival. Those days are gone because this Tory government have sucked them dry and are not giving them enough of that public money. So they need partners and they need investors. So for Doctor Who to go on, they needed someone. Unfortunately, we got Disney, which is a huge problem. I can promise you, Ncuti Gatwa would never have been cast as the Doctor if Disney weren't involved with that decision-making process. Do I care that Ncuti Gatwa is a black man playing the Doctor? Of course I don't. Do I think Ncuti Gatwa will do a solid job? Of course I do. I've seen him in other roles. He's a bona fide, good, young actor. He will be a really, really good Doctor if Russell T Davies allows him to be. The problem is Chris Chibnall didn't allow Jodie Whittaker to be a good Doctor because she was a woman. So she had to be perfect. She had to be flawless. She couldn't be the flawed Doctor we knew and loved for the previous, 57 years or so when she first joined. We can't have that with Ncuti Gatwa. We can't have a flawless Doctor just because he's played by a black man. That simply isn't on. But Doctor Who and Disney make for very, very bad bedfellows. And yesterday's announcement kind of showed us that because we heard that the Loki Season 1 head writer Kate Herron will be co-writing an episode of Series 14 or 15 or whatever it is of Doctor Who with her writing partner, which of course is a woman. It wouldn't be a straight white man now, would it? So Loki Season 1 wasn't good. Let's be honest about it. And it's no accident that Disney owned Marvel Studios and someone who was the head writer of a Disney-owned project is now going to be writing an episode of Doctor Who. No one can convince me that this is a Russell T Davies decision. Russell T Davies is supposed to be the showrunner, the head writer, the executive producer. His Bad Wolf production company is involved in producing Doctor Who, along with Disney. But I saw the red flags when Disney were announced. While everyone was dancing, it's Disney, we're going to have Disney money. You'll be surprised how little money Disney actually have because they've run their institution into the ground with extremism and propaganda and fan baiting, customer baiting. Never bite the hand that feeds you. That's you and me. And that's what this industry has decided to do. So what happened yesterday with this announcement, it told me everything. It confirmed my worst fears. When you look at the casting they're doing, they want to represent every colour of the rainbow. Now, in practice, there's nothing wrong with that. But what's going on here? When you think about what we've seen of the 60th anniversary special, the fact we're getting 3 episodes, doesn't that worry you a little bit? I thought we were supposed to be celebrating 60 years of Doctor Who history. All I can see is the celebration of the original RTD era. Very, very worrying. And we don't even know when these 3 episodes are going to air yet. We don't. We're nearly a month away from when all this is meant to be happening. We're now under a month away from the official 60th anniversary of Doctor Who. And they haven't told us when they're airing the episodes. We already know. Not one of these episodes will air on the 23rd of November, the exact 60th birthday of Doctor Who. So that's messy, right? We also, of course, had this Doomsday Big Finish story, which was supposed to be running across all platforms. And we know the woman playing that character is another propaganda extremist, because she made it clear on Twitter the day she was announced. They can't help themselves. You're telling me that Disney had nothing to do with any of this after the mess they've made out of Marvel and Star Wars? And it's not exactly a surprise to me that we have a rip-off Baby Yoda in this anniversary special. One they can turn into toys to sell and merch. But believe you me, that little toy we're going to see in one of those episodes isn't going to have the trend that Baby Yoda did. They have no new ideas. Russell T Davies said if he didn't have anything new to say about Doctor Who, he wouldn't be coming back. Well, let's see what new things he has to say. He's brought back Donna, a character whose story finished off so dramatically somber, so dramatically depressing in a brilliant way. But you're bringing her back and you're going to ruin her. You're going to ruin her story. Never go back. Donna's story ended perfectly. There was no need to bring her back. But it's nostalgia bait. David Tennant returning as the 14th Doctor. And apparently this is a thing. I never believed it was a thing. He's definitely the 14th Doctor. He ain't a trick. He ain't a trap. According to RTD, he is the Doctor. And apparently, if you believe rumour, the reason he's not wearing Jodie's clothes is because they burnt as the regeneration process was happening. AKA RTD and Disney find it offensive for a man to be wearing women's clothes. The irony isn't lost on me with that statement, considering all their propaganda and extremism. Talk about mixed messaging, right? So we're not going to have an explanation why all of a sudden we're having a Doctor regenerate wearing other clothes. Basically, this Doctor's wearing Doctor number 10 clothes, but he's Doctor number 14. Why? Why is he dressed like the original 10th Doctor if he ain't the 10th Doctor? I mean, maybe he is the human Meta-Crisis Doctor, and that's why Donna's back as well. Apparently, it was Catherine Tate's idea to return. And you know what? If it were me, I would have said, you know what, Kathy, let's not do this, because your story ended. I'd love to work with you again, but your story ended. Catherine Tate was absolutely phenomenal, fantastic as Donna Noble. Leave the past where it belongs. Also, RTD keeps on talking about, doing new things, but basically we've got a pretty attractive young companion, human companion. She's not even a historical companion. She's not even going to be an alien, played by Millie Gibson, who isn't just a pretty face. She's a very, very good actor. I love Millie. I'm happy about her casting. Don't get me wrong. So there's a lot of issues and a lot of red flags thus far with what we've seen with the Russell T Davies second era of Doctor Who. I think we may be saying RIP Doctor Who from 1963 to whenever Capaldi hung up his sonic screwdriver. What was that, 2016, 2017? Whatever it was. I think that's when Doctor Who finished for me. And I think it could end up that Stephen Moffat is looking like a much better showrunner as time goes on. I personally don't hold out much hope for the future of Doctor Who with all these announcements. All I see is nostalgia bait for the RTD era, because that's the point. They're trying to distract us from the Chibnall, Jodie Whittaker, 13 era, by saying, oh look, it's David Tennant. My heart sunk when I saw him materialise. I love David as the Doctor. He's one of the great Doctors. He's a great actor. He's a great lad. No issue with David or his Doctor. But it's nostalgia bait. If you wanted real nostalgia bait, you would have got on your hands and knees and begged Christopher Eccleston for forgiveness. Imagine if Christopher Eccleston materialised after Jodie left the show. We would have all lost our shit in a positive way. But they're not willing to bend the knee and publicly apologise to Christopher Eccleston, because the treatment of Eccleston was disgusting. And there's no question, and Chris ain't letting it go. And why should he? It's amazing he's even doing Big Finish. I'm assuming he's desperate for the money, and good luck to him. He deserves to still be playing the Doctor in Big Finish, and that's really, really good. But the truth is that Jodie Whittaker should have finished off her era in the 60th anniversary special. Maybe even with this year's Christmas special. That would have been a rounded way. But they pretend they support her. He's at that concert, in an interview called The Showrunners with Moffat and Chibnall, and he's in a freeway picture with Chibnall and Moffat, pretending everything is in the garden is rosy, when it wasn't rosy. And it's not good that we don't know when Doctor Who's going to air. And it's no good the Defenders and the Shield saying, why are people losing their crap over it? Because it's nearly a month away from the anniversary. It's under a month away from the anniversary, and we don't know shit. It's all very, very messy. At this time, we knew what was going on under Moffat. We knew that John Hurt would be involved. We were focusing on that Doctor. Because here's the thing. Say what you want about Moffat, but the anniversary was focused around an existing Doctor, Matt Smith, a Doctor that we've been used to watching for 3 years. But what this is doing is saying, let's forget about the Whittaker Doctor. That didn't work out. Here's some nostalgia bait, everyone. It'll be fine. I don't think nostalgia and celebration of one era instead of the 60 years of greatness we've had from Doctor Who is great. And I don't think it's a good way of celebrating Doctor Who. Basically, the further we go in this, a bigger problem Disney will become, because they are a huge problem with what's going on here. And I've seen it with all the casting and all the representation and inclusion. It's got Disney wrapped around its little enigma. And I can see things really ending in tears. Be prepared, everyone, because series 14 and 15 could be the last series of Doctor Who.